What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Nerd Militia, where we talk about comic books, and from time to time, we do some dope shit. Today, we're going to be talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, basically Black Panther 2. This will be my third time recording this. Oh man, so much has happened. But let's just talk about Black Panther and let's jump into it. So, first off, spoiler alert, like we're gonna just talk about it. There's spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen Black Panther 2 or Wakanda Forever, please go watch that and come back to this video once you've done so. So right away when we get in this film, we're dealing with T'Challa's unknown illness. I know in videos somewhere on this playlist, I did not go search them down, but I think like I talked about the mini theories, and I believe this was one of them where like he would suffer a illness similar to cancer, but it wouldn't be cancer. We would just not know about it. And this is what happens. Shuri struggles to create this synthetic heart shaped the heart shaped herb and save her brother. So she kind of takes on that burden now. Like she is the smartest person in the MCU, but she wasn't able to use her gifts of brilliance to save her brother. So this really fucks with her. So with all this going around, Queen Ramonda, well, Ramonda becomes queen again after the death of T'Challa, and now, well, things are pretty much playing the same way you think things would play in Wakanda as far as resources go. There are outreach centers, however, they're still not giving other countries like real sourced vibranium for obvious reasons. Even in this film, France, I believe it is, like sends a secret. First of all, why would it be France? I don't even know if it's France. Like I forget who it was. I wasn't looking at the thing, but it might not even be France. We're gonna say it's France. France, of all people, send in a mercenary squad to go steal vibranium from one of the outreach centers, and it goes horribly. Like, the Dora Milaje are inside, and they're just waiting to kick some ass, and they do that. They hand these guys over, and they parade them in front of the UN, and pretty much everybody looks dumb because the UN, the purpose of the UN meeting was like bitch and complain about Wakanda not playing ball, and Queen Ramonda is like, this is why. Like, you guys just don't know how to be civilized. You talk a big game, but you're really not civilized. So this forces other countries to kind of search for vibranium elsewhere. Side note, we haven't got there yet, but this leads like the CIA to kind of steal a student project, and we leave it to the MCU CIA, right, to go ahead and do this. They steal a student's project, put it together, and they use it to find vibranium because that was the student's project. She created, Riri Williams created a machine that could detect vibranium like anywhere. Okay, so that's there now. And this leads them to go looking for vibranium elsewhere on the planet, which leads them to Namor. Not Namor, well, yeah, I guess Namor himself, because it leads them to Talokan, which is Talokan. I feel like I'm always pronouncing that wrong, but it leads them there. And of course, Namor's response is to kill everybody because he doesn't want to be discovered. And hats off to him. Hats off to him. I wouldn't want to be discovered if I had a secret civilization either, I guess. Namor and Talokan, right? I've heard that people are saying that these are reskinned the origins of Black Panther or T'Challa and Black Panther. And yeah, it kind of is. And I'm going to tell you why. So, much like Black Panther, the first Black Panther, the subtext of the movie was really like this letter or this conversation between Africans and African Americans. And like there's like this discord and then like this separation of us. And in our own cultural zeitgeist, there's this separation between the two. Killmonger often refers to African Americans as the lost tribe, and Africans often don't want to take claim. And there's a lot of like history, cultural, geopolitical things that go into this, but for the most part, there isn't a lot of interaction, very little interaction between both of us, although we have the same cultural or at least place of origin, right? That being said, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is dealing the subcontext of this movie, I believe, is the relationship between black and brown people, African Americans and Mexican Americans, or blacks and Hispanics, or Africans and Hispanics, however you want to say it. This is what the subtext is. So I believe with this movie, I know people are saying, "Oh, it's just a reskin." It's not really a reskin. What it's saying is we have a similar place of origin. Like we're basically cousins, so we should be on the same side. So that's what it's going to lead to as we talk about this more. But that's what that origin is basically saying. Like we have similar origins, guys. Like we have more connections than you think we do. So Everett Ross, Valentina, and Riri Williams, right? Riri Williams is a part of the script. She feels like she's a part of the script. Where I think the whole Everett Ross might have had in Valentina thing. I don't think Valentina in the Everett Ross plotline had anything to do with the original script. I feel like this was a studio call and they played ball with the studio call. This was something that they were probably told to put in. And the big thing with this is Everett Ross revealing that him and Valentina were married at some point. And again, I feel it kind of fits shakily, but honestly, I believe this is a studio call, and I get that they're trying to set up for Thunderbolts. They're trying to set up for sorry guys, they're trying to set up for Thunderbolts. This was definitely a missed opportunity for one thing, and we're gonna jump into that. But needless to say, Valentina comes in. And again, we get that reveal, but we also get to learn that like she's always expected that Everett Ross has been working with the Wakandas for so long, and she ends up bugging his phone. Well, Shuri's beads. What leads Everett Ross to getting bugged beads is the fact that Okoye and Shuri go to America to find the scientist. Because once Namor has killed everybody who was on that ship when they found the vibranium, he basically goes back to Wakanda, sneaks across the border, and basically tells the queen and princess, like, yo, this is kind of your fault. We need to work together. And if you don't, like, I have more people than you do, and we'll smash Wakanda. So this is kind of your fault. I need you to clean it up for the both of our sakes. P.S. If you don't, we're coming back and we're gonna fuck your whole shit up. So that's what leads them to America, and where they go to search for this woman. And then basically the weird part is like they get the mission done, but Namor still sends his sister and like general to go stop, apprehend them, whatever. A fight happens on the bridge. They get taken to the Talokan, and then Everett Ross shows up to the crime scene, and he finds Shuri's beads that were planted, I guess, by Valentina, who and then bugged them. Which again, it's Wakanda tech. Like you have the tech to bug Wakanda tech. Hey, whatever. Again, well, not again. Let me say that I get this story would have a bunch of loose holes, be it loose holes, which would because of how fast they had to put this together. Okay, so I get it, but yeah, so that's the thing. So that's how that happens, and that's how we get the reveal of Everett Ross and Valentina being married, and this is how Everett Ross gets arrested because Valentina does suspect and confirms that Everett Ross has been the mole for Wakanda. So Namor blames T'Challa for exposing both of their cultures to the world. And that being said, now he has Riri and Shuri in his possession, or he has captured them, if you will. My only complaint about Riri Williams, really, and this goes with the Midnight Angels, is their design. Like, I don't understand why they're so bulky. Riri being inspired by Tony Stark and being again brilliant, like she's able to put together this suit. I would have thought like they would have been smoother. I mean, like this is after the death of Tony Stark. I mean, I guess they were trying to like separate them as much as possible, but I don't know, man. I just think there could have been a better suit design for both Ironheart and the Midnight Angel. So Shuri and Riri are both rescued by Nakia. In the process, they kill a Telekonian. Um, and this, of course, freaking means war. They get rescued. They get back to Wakanda. Namor finds out, and then yeah, he shows up and he pretty much like wrecks some shit in Wakanda. Here's the deal. Okay. This is my okay. I don't know if this even should be a complaint, but I'm gonna complain about it. So this did happen in the comic books. And again, this is an adaptation, so I get it. It happens. It's just the response for me was a little off. And we're gonna touch on that, but because in the comic books, Black Panther's answer to Namor doing what he did to Wakanda is quite literally showing up to Atlantis and just obliterating Atlantis. Like it, stuff happened, things were said, like. But in the film, it's kind of like this one-sided thing where like Namor comes in and he wrecks Wakanda, and then when they go to answer this, like they pretty Wakanda gets double wrecked almost. And thank goodness for the ending, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Before they're rescued, Namor gifts Shuri, because she's the first surface dweller to visit Talokan in many centuries. And like as a kind of like let's kind of work together thing, he offers her, man, I can't speak today. Offers her a bracelet that was made from their sacred herb. Which is, I guess, cool, but yeah. So later on, Shuri takes that and breeds that with the remnants of their herbs into T'Challa's DNA to make the synthetic herb. So I'm gonna slow down because I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But the next part I want to talk about is, I guess, a death that I felt was unnecessary. So Queen Ramonda is killed in the invasion of the Talokans and Namor. She's drowned protecting Riri. And man, I do think that was a death. I don't know why they made. I would really like to know like what made them do this. Like, I wonder if Angela Bassett was like, guys, I want to bow out. If this was a studio thing, if Coogler was like, yeah, let's take her out. Because I just honestly believe it was an unneeded death. She had a strong presence. I think if there was no T'Challa or T'Chunka or Killmonger, like, you know, she ruled. I dug it. I loved it. Why they decided to kill her off, I don't know, but it was a needless death. I think they could have reached the same conclusion of the movie without her death. I honestly do. So this, of course, angers Shuri. She declares war. She prints that synthetic herb that I was just talking about, and she goes under. I mean, she takes it. She goes under to the astral plane or the ancestor plane, right? And she meets up with Killmonger. And so, because she takes this herb and with such vengeance, and she's grieving in her soul and in her heart, she is greeted and met, or at least unbeknownst to herself, she called for Killmonger, because Killmonger was the get it done king. Now, Shuri says a lot of stuff to Killmonger on this realm, that he was a coward and all this stuff, but he quickly points out that, like, if it wasn't for him, someone like Riri Williams, or in any other case, Riri Williams would have just been handed over to Namor without a second like thought. Like, that's just who they were. So the kings before him were the real cowards. Like, he's the reason why the Wakandans pay attention to the other African Americans scattered, or just other African people scattered around the world. That being said, Killmonger tells her, like, yo, you can either do things like your coward dad or your noble brother, or you can do them like me, and I get shit done. And so basically Shuri's like, all right, I'm gonna destroy Namor by any means necessary. So in this last battle, Shuri gets the upper hand on Namor. However, the Atlanteans, or the Talokans, have the upper hand on the Wakanda army because they are in the middle of the ocean. But before the Wakandans can be murdered, Shuri yields her death blow. So basically, she says to Namor to yield or die, and Namor yield. This brings their people together finally. And I know a lot of people had a lot to say about this ending. I know a lot of people didn't like it. It was just not. It was anticlimactic to a lot of people. But here's the deal. This is what I have to say. These are my 2 cents about this ending. This is a fantasy movie. And again, we're talking about subtext, right? The subtext of this movie is the relationship between black and brown people, right? In a fantasy, in the fantasy of the movie, wouldn't it be cool if black and brown people just got along? Like, it wasn't more. So I know, like, more people didn't die, and it wasn't this crazy war that most people expecting. But again, this is a fantasy movie. So isn't it fantasy that like black and brown people could just be like, hey, we have a common enemy. Let's stop beefing. And I think that's wonderful. It was beautiful. I love the ending. What's even more crazy to think about now is like the Omega superpower that Wakanda and Talokan are like. The tech between them, governing surface and ocean, the richness of vibranium, like what the heck? Like they are a new superpower power. And I mean to be honest, like only somebody like King or Doom will be able to shake that. Oh, and then super side note, like still no mention about the celestials sticking out of the ocean. Like I halfway expected to be like Talokan to be within built inside the rest of this celestial, or like maybe Namor had something to say. Like maybe, I mean, like to be honest, that probably could have been more of his driving point. He's like, you guys are already effing up my ocean with that man thing sticking out, and now you guys are trying to take my vibranium. Like, we got to do something about this. So after this big giant like congratulatory type situation we have with Wakanda and Talokan becoming like one nation or allied nations. Shuri leaves to Haiti to visit Nakia, but in the midst, she leaves M'Baku to compete for the throne in her place, which that implies a lot of things. Again, we're going to talk about it more after this. But yeah, so that happens. Now, finally in Haiti, Shuri is able to mourn her brother. She sits at a fire. She thinks about his memory. We are treated with images of Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, which is awesome. And then, after the heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, beautiful song, Lift Me Up by Rihanna, we're treated to another one mid-credit scene, and it is Nakia introducing Shuri to her nephew that she didn't know she had. That was between Nakia and T'Challa. Basically, T'Challa had a kid. There is a Prince T'Challa, named after his dad, obviously, and it looks like these two will be raising them up. So let's talk about the crazy stuff about this, guys. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's implied in Black Panther, and these are kind of like the things that are stuck in my head. So now we don't know, and I'm assuming she didn't, but Shuri never gave up her powers. So M'Baku is competing for the throne, and the person who sits on the throne is also Black Panther. The main reason why Ramonda didn't have it is because Killmonger in the previous film had burnt down all the heart-shaped herb. It would have been cool to see Ramonda in the Black Panther suit, and I'm sure Angela Bassett's thinking about that now that if there was a Black Panther 3, maybe we would have got something like that. I don't know. That would have been an awesome treat for somebody, for a character that has been through so much. But again, she's dead. So so there you go. So we would basically, and assuming that M'Baku is going to rule unchallenged, because I don't know if anybody challenged him, or even if they did, I'm assuming that he would have won. He would become the Black Panther of Wakanda, and there would be a Black Panther similarly just out and about, Shuri. So we would have 2 Black Panthers. Or I'm not sure if she would go by the name of the Golden Jaguar. I'm not sure if she would change that, but we have 2 Black Panthers. During this movie, it could have just been me, but I doubt it. But I kind of felt like there was a will they or won't they thing with Shuri and Namor, and I wonder if that means that like now, because Shuri is not in Wakanda, if that's a thing. I mean, granted, they fought. I get it. they had this hard battle, but like, what if they were like, I kind of dig you, dude. Like, I love the way you almost murdered me. Like, that's what I've been looking for in my mate. Like, I am down for Namor and Shuri being a thing, like a royal thing, because I know X-Men's coming down the pipeline, but T'Challa's gone, so we're not going to get that awesome like Omega wedding between Storm and T'Challa, unless the Storm we're getting is going to be a younger Storm to match up with this younger new T'Challa Jr., right? I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm assuming that that's off the board. Like, it would be cool if these two, Namor and Princess Shuri, got married, and it was basically, Golden Jaguar and Namor. I mean, like, just, I think it would be dope. Also, I know a lot of people are like, but he lives underwater and she lives on the surface, like blah 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 blah. Yeah, but Shuri did use their herb to make the synthetic herb. So, like, does she have a hybrid herb? Can she survive in water? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, it is a hybrid herb. I don't know what that means. But it would be cool if there was like a residual, like some sort of side effect that allowed Shuri to live both on land and in the water if she wanted to, which would lead to this awesome new super kingdom. That's just me. That's what I would like. I don't know. You let me know. The second thing, what made Talokan such a threat is everybody has the power and the enhancedness from their water herb, their whatever the herb they had. All the people took it, and basically everybody. And this applies to something else too. So like this, there's so much I don't know, but okay. So here we go. Everybody in that in Talokan basically has superhuman speed and strength and all this other cool stuff, right? They don't die, they get cut, they heal. Awesome, cool stuff. It's because like everybody has the power from their herb. That being said, now that we have these synthetic herbs, will Wakanda break with tradition and let people have access to this herb? Like, what like, are we not going to do that? Are you guys going to keep just making it exclusive for the Panther? Or will everybody get a taste? Or will they say, well, everybody in their armies will get a taste? Like, I don't know, but I think like after being so defeated by all these super humans, that they would do that. Like, that would be the thing. All in all, guys, this movie was like for me, it was a 6.5, dude. Like, I understand everything they went through to make this movie, and I understand why, it came out the way it came out. It was honestly like a rush production, in my opinion. Um, it is a 6.5 for me, but I still love this movie. I will own it, and I will put it in my Marvel collection I have, even though I have Disney Plus. Again, what they had, the time they had, and what happened to their family. Man, this movie is great when you put all that together. So 6.5. So yeah, guys, thanks again for clicking on this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sure I'm gonna do a competition. It'll be in the secret links down below. So to enter in said competition, all you gotta do is like, comment, and subscribe. And as usual, guys, stay excellent. I'll catch you guys later.